I've been doing fundraising long enough that I knew what we had on our hands. Like, people were going to donate, right?
Yeah.
Like, this is what it is. But at the same time, our executive director came in and said, okay, let's raise $1 million. And we were like, do what now? Like, and we were like, yeah, sure, sounds great. And then we like privately were like, well, maybe we can get to like 250,000. That'd be great. Hope we can get there. Just yesterday we crossed 650,000. It's been unreal.
Yeah.
The other like really interesting part of this, and I think this has a lot to do with kind of what you're trying to get at, as well as another element we haven't talked about yet, which is your earned media strategy and how social media kind of complements that. Because I will say, when we did an analysis, now this data is a couple weeks old, but when we did an analysis of the individual givers that we've had to the fund so far, which is now just over 1,200, but at the time I think was like 900, over 500 of that 900 were brand new donors to CASA.
Wow.
Had never come into the organization. Additionally, when we analyzed our actual donor base, only 10% of our base had actually given to the Solidarity Fund. So there's this really interesting thing where it was actually like the communications going outside to like our unfamiliar audience were actually having more profound effect than the stuff we were doing internally. Now, there's a lot of reasons for that, and I think we could analyze that all day and bandy different explanations back and forth. But like, I do think that the type of earned media that we were doing and pushing out those articles through our social media, through both boosted and organic posts, was going such a long way. I mean, we had and I'll be honest, it was an awful article. Like, we had to write an angry letter to the author of the article, but it ran in the Washington Post, and it featured a link to our Solidarity Fund, and it drew tens of thousands of dollars. And we, for a while, we boosted it on our Facebook till we realized how awful this article was, and then we had to stop. But the point being, this whole other element where actually Facebook, social media in general, as well as like earned media and the interaction between the two, played a larger role in our ability to bring in funds here than did our kind of connection with our existing base.
How about you guys, Christine?
Yeah, I think that sounds right. That definitely, and yeah, I kind of similarly, I think we never focus our online fundraising to our base. Kind of, there's different like decentralized fundraising that does happen. People do kind of like, community fundraisers. People like make tamales and sell them as like local fundraisers. But we never really like focus our efforts internally. And I think definitely that was the case, not only in the majority of the money not coming from our member base, but definitely the majority of our money not coming from our existing donor base. Really, as I was mentioning, kind of, we saw that spike the week that the checks were first going out. And I do think there was a combination there, of our social presence. And I think it was both some collaboration that we were doing. I know Resource Generation was running also a Donate My Check campaign that, gave us a little bit of media attention and helped direct some of their people to us. And so, I think we didn't have quite as much earned media so far as we wanted to. And it's definitely in our strategy to get more to kind of help engineer then like another boost in the fund. But overall, I think similarly, and I'm not really a development person, so I was more out of my element, but we similarly had a moment where it's like, oh wait, we could raise $1 million. That's not the kind of thing that we usually do ever at all. Or like, we're having better fundraising every day, even just kind of from our ads and nothing else, than we usually do an entire month. And that's actually, I was definitely concerned that it was going to be a really narrow window that we had to be able to get donations. It was really going to be kind of like the 3 weeks out from that first bump of the checks, and then afterwards things would drop off, and they haven't dropped off yet. So we've actually so far hit our $1 million goal with about $300,000 coming from our ads, which is really remarkable for us because, well, one, there's a larger ad spend there than we've ever done before. We've spent over $20,000 on ads, but to really be able to have that return on our ad spend is nowhere near anything that we've ever had before. So that's been really remarkable.